viewers, today we have with us one of our student Clinton who has successfully qualified the UGC NET exam this December 2023. So welcome Clinton.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for having me here.
Clinton, today we are here and we would like to know about your journey. Tell us a little bit about your educational background.
Ma'am, I did my graduate as well as master's in labor studies and social protection from Tata Institute of Social Science, Guwahati. After my master's, I started preparing for the NET exam.
So was it immediately after your master's or you took a break?
No, ma'am, I took a break.
Okay.
Like for 6 months, I think.
For 6 months, you took a break and then you decided you wanted to start with the preparations.
Yes,
How did you start your UGC NET preparation and what motivated you? How did you even succeed and qualify the attempt?
Okay, ma'am. First of all, preparation and accomplishment in this UGC NET while clearing it, it's a long process, but step by step. First of all, what I wanted to do is, after completing my master's, I decided to go further on my studies. So what I did was, the only way that I could go further with my study was through clearing the NET exam. So that's how I started preparing for my NET.
Okay, so if I ask you here, do you want to be an assistant professor because you have attempted this exam, or now, as of now, you want to join PhD?
If the situation favors both, then I'll try both. But then, first of all, I'll try for my PhD.
First of all, you would like to enroll for your PhD. All right, that's great. So would you like to share how much score did you get?
Yeah, ma'am. So like I scored 192 out of 300.
That's very nice. And what was your second paper?
I gave my second paper in human resource management.
Human resource management. All right. So can you share a little bit about paper 1, paper 2, like a brief about the syllabus?
Sure, ma'am.
How did you start your preparation with the syllabus?
So like NET exam is more like how much we know about our paper, how much we know about our paper, especially in my subject, which is in paper 2. But especially for paper 1, it's totally different because paper 1 decides everything about NET exam again.
Right.
Because even if we are so good in paper 2, doesn't mean that we might qualify if we don't qualify the paper 1 aggregate mark again. So like paper 1 and paper 2, I won't consider them like as the alternate importance for one or the other, but then I would prefer, or I would say that paper 1 has more weightage when it comes to clearing the NET exam.
Right. So you mean to say that we have to maintain a balance between both the papers?
Yes, ma'am. And then a little bit higher to focus on paper 1 because paper 2 we already have that background, right?
Yes, right, absolutely. So paper 2, it depends on us only. I don't think so we need much guidance in paper 2, but paper 1, because the syllabus is so dynamic,
exactly,
right? We have so many units which is very dynamic. So paper 1 we need more kind of guidance. So Clinton, can you share a little bit about the syllabus and how did you use the syllabus? How did you start your preparation for the UGC NET?
Ma'am, NET is all about like paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1 we have the general paper and paper 2 is optional. So optional for me was HRM. So HRM for me I had to work for my own. But paper 1, because of the vast nature and the dynamic nature of its the very on paper, I needed some guidance or help. So during that time I came from home. So I needed a coaching center or some good classes. So while I was searching through the internet, I came to find out about the coaching Boost a Brain coaching classes. So after having a discussion with you, ma'am, I finally decided to enroll myself for the classes. Ma'am, I would also like to add one more thing. As per your suggestion, I took up the demo class suggested by you, and I found it really interactive and interesting. So that's when I was boosted a bit of confidence that I could clear could clear this exam easily with your help and guidance.
Yeah, so we generally do that, and anyone who comes and visits me have a discussion. So I ask the students that do take up a demo class because that is very important, right? You should know what you will be learning. Okay, so that way you came to us and we started with the journey together. So what after that, Clinton? What was your routine? What about the classes? How did you manage your self-study part and the classes part?
Most important thing for me while preparing the exam was attending the class itself. I don't think I ever missed any of the classes while I was preparing for the exam. So and then during the classes it was the interactive session that we had, the cooperation that you gave us, that made us clear the concepts, and that's the one thing that is really required for the exam. And then added by the notes that you gave us inside the class, that really boosted my conceptual framework for this exam.
Okay, I do remember you were a very sincere student. So throughout the journey, I don't remember if you missed any class, and you were very interactive, Clinton. I would like to say that you used to question me a lot, right? So Clinton, also do tell us how many hours in a day did you put in?
Ma'am, I think 2 to 3 hours for each paper. Both paper 1, paper 2 are, if we put this much amount of time, I think we can easily clear the exam.
Okay, so is it 2 to 3 hours per paper,
Yes,
or
ma'am.
both papers together?
2 to 3 hours for paper 1 and another 2 to 3 hours for paper
For
2.
paper 2, great. What do you think, Clinton? What are the key elements that you need to qualify this exam?
Ma'am, some of the important factors are good guidance from well-learned teachers and their interactions. After that, a sincere work and a hard work from our side. And then one of the most important thing again here is time management again.
Right, yes.
How we manage our time.
Yeah, that's very necessary, right? So, how did you manage your time? Because when you sat for your exam, you had 3 hours and the
Yeah.
paper is too lengthy. So, what was your strategy for that?
Ma'am, while preparing for the exam, I came across a lot of mock tests and everything. So that's how I could manage the time. So while giving the exam, I could complete my exam in 2 hours and a half. Like, it was not a big deal for me because I practiced a lot even inside the class while we are having mock tests.
Yes, so here we would like to add that mock tests and previous year questions are very, very important.
Yes, ma'am.
And we do have to, yes, we
Yes,
do
ma'am.
have to practice these questions
Yes, ma'am.
in the set time. Clinton, I would also like to ask you one thing. What were the notes or the study materials that you referred to?
Ma'am, I referred to the class notes that was given by you, and supplementary to it, I followed to the book that was provided in the coaching center, and both were enough, more than enough, because I didn't need to refer to any other books. And then these two things with along with the MCQs and the PYQs were more than helpful to me.
Okay, so it means that to crack this exam, we really don't need a lot of materials,
ma'am.
right? We just need the exam oriented material, and that is more than sufficient. Now, Clinton, coming to the actual exam day, what was your approach like? How did you attempt the paper?
Ma'am, with the revision classes and the mock test that we had in the class, I didn't have any difficulties while approaching for the real exam. It was not a hard thing for me to do. And with the 3-step strategies and the keyword strategy or technique that you have provided inside the class has really helped me to complete my exam efficiently.
Okay, so the keywords that I provided in the class, you mean to say it helped?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What would you like to say about the DI part? How did you attempt your DI and the logical reasoning, the mathematical reasoning questions?
Ma'am, that's the most important, most interesting thing,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to paper 1. It's not a big thing, but then it's really important. So as we are all aware of how many marks it carries, especially for the mathematical part. So with the tricks and the shortcuts that you have taught us, it really helps me because I didn't need to physically even calculate it by myself. I did it through my calculation inside my head only.
So you mean to say you mentally calculated the things?
Yeah, I could, ma'am.
Was it easy?
It was not easy at first, but as we keep on practicing, I could did
Yes.
it. I did it through my mind only.
You were able to do it mentally.
Yeah.
It means you need a lot of practice.
Yes, ma'am. A lot.
Yes, so that was also an element that you missed, that a lot of practice and consistency is required to qualify this exam.
Yes, ma'am. Especially for DI itself.
Yes, for DI we do need, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So do you think the exam is really difficult?
Ma'am, as per my experience, it was not that difficult, but it was not an easy matter as well because it's a matter of hard work as well. So as far as we study, as far as we keep on working consistently, I think everyone can clear the exam.
Do you think we need coaching to crack this exam?
Ma'am, it solely depends on people or the person who is giving the exam. But then, like I said in the very beginning, the vast nature and the dynamic nature of paper 1, we need, because nobody is perfect, so we need at least some guidance, especially for people who are weak in some parts. So yeah, at some point do we need some coachings or some guidance.
Okay. So, Clinton, what do you think? What should be the criteria to choose the right coaching?
First and foremost thing, ma'am, they should have a thorough background check regarding the coaching classes or the institute that they are going to admit to. And then they should also prefer demo classes. That way they can learn about how effective the classes would be from the demo classes.
So we have come to the end of this podcast, Clinton. Thanks for coming here and giving us your time and guiding the future UGC NET aspirants.
Thank you, ma'am. It was my pleasure.
So, from the discussion that we had with Clinton today, we can conclude that consistency and thorough practice is the main key to qualify the UGC NET exam. This was our first podcast with one of our students who qualified the recent exam. We would be coming up with more such informative and exciting podcasts in the future. Do connect with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Thank you.